Hey, good morning, everybody. It's Wednesday morning, August 8th, 2018, and we are right in the middle of a hot and muggy summer here in Connecticut. And wherever you are, I just pray you are blessed and you're having a great summer. Summer's a time of vacation. Summer's a time of rest and relaxation and fun. And it's also a time here at Living Word Fellowship where we pause and we deal with a subject that maybe is difficult, but we can deal with it in a deeper way. And this summer, we've been going through the topic of evil. Why do bad things happen? Why do tragedies happen? In fact, right now, in our world, out in California, there are wildfires that are devastating whole neighborhoods, whole communities of people. Houses are being burned to the ground. Forests are being destroyed. Why do those things happen? Are those an act of God? Or is it something else that's going on? And we could take it into our own daily lives. Car accidents, tragedies, rape and murder, things that we don't ever want to talk about, but they're real. Why do those things happen? Why does evil exist? So we're spending the entire summer discussing that topic, the problem of evil. Is it God? Is God causing it to happen? Is God allowing it to happen? And our argument has been no, that is not God at all. In fact, our argument is that we should have the same perspective Jesus had. I wanted to point you to a parable of Jesus in Matthew chapter 13. Listen to what he says here. It says, Jesus told them another parable. It says, the kingdom of heaven is like a man who sowed good seed in his field. But while everyone was sleeping, his enemy came and sowed weeds among the wheat and went away. When the wheat sprouted and formed heads, then the weeds also appeared. The owner's servants came to him and said, Sir, didn't you sow good seed in your field? Where then did the weeds come from? An enemy did this, he replied. The servants asked him, Do you want us to go and pull them up? No, he answered, because while you are pulling the weeds, you may uproot the wheat with them. Let both grow until the harvest. At that time I will tell the harvesters, First collect the weeds and tie them in bundles to be burned, then gather the wheat and bring it into my barn. What a great parable Jesus tells us that really matches perfectly with our topic this summer. See, the field represents the earth, the world. And the kingdom of heaven represents God's perspective, God's rule and reign coming onto the earth. But it says that the farmer planted good seed, sowed good seed. That was his intention, for something good to grow. But then in the middle of the night, an enemy came in, and he sowed weeds among the seed. So when we look at things like tragedy, car accidents, when we look at the many, many tragic, evil things that happen that we all know are evil, the answer isn't to blame God, because God planted good seed in the field. But the perspective Jesus had and the perspective he taught is an enemy did this. An enemy did this. And that's the perspective we as Christians should have. It's not God allowing it to happen. It's not God controlling things. An enemy came in and did this. And the evil we see around us is proof of that. But the really, really ironic part of this is that in the parable, Jesus specifically says that we're not supposed to pull up the evil yet, because if we do, we're going to destroy other people who are doing good. We're going to destroy the good seed as well. Instead, we're supposed to wait, because there's going to come a time where everything is going to be dealt with and it's all going to be made right. So that's what I want to encourage you about this morning. When you look at tragedy, when we look at wildfires, when we look at hurricanes and tornadoes and tsunamis and early deaths, premature deaths, accidents, anything that's happening, war itself, it's not signs of God's sovereignty. It's not signs of God's control. It's the perfect sign that an enemy has crept in and done this. He has infiltrated the good field that God made with a weed. And it's not the way God wanted it. But yet, right now, there are things happening that God does not like. But he's not removing it all. He's not just ripping it out, because there's free will, and there's good people, and there's work being done, and he wants people to choose to love him. So therefore he has to tolerate the way things are, and he has to let the enemy's work do its work, because he wants us to draw closer to him. But one day it's all going to end. One day, that's the hope we have as Christians. One day, Jesus is coming back on a white horse, and he's going to end this. And evil is going to be banished, and death is going to be finally destroyed, and the enemy will be put in his place once and for all. Until that happens, our job is to occupy until the captain returns. And so we're going to, in the next few weeks, as we wrap up this summer series, we're going to talk about what does it mean to occupy. What's our role in this? If we have to live in a world where there is evil present and there's tragedy, what is our job here? It's not just to tolerate and deal with it. It's, I would say, to do exactly what Jesus did. Rebuke it, muzzle it, stand against it. We're going to talk about that in the next coming weeks. I hope you're encouraged through this series this summer. I hope it gives you a fresh perspective on evil and tragedy. Not only that, but a fresh perspective on what God is doing. And hopefully in the next few weeks, you'll get a fresh perspective on what you should be doing as a Christian as well. So I'll talk to you again next Wednesday. Until then, be blessed, my friends. Stay encouraged. Continue to go after the truth that God has for you. God bless you.